going live in my Facebook group, and then we'll get started. Okay, as promised, today we are talking about Padsicles, and this was a major part of my postpartum recovery. In my video from yesterday, I talked about what postpartum recovery was like for me as far as my pelvic floor. And so needless to say, my pelvic floor needed some extra support and relief, and the Padsicles really helped with this. And so the Padsicles provide a coolness, and you're basically putting an ice pack in your nether regions or on your nether regions. And this helps a lot with soothing stitches, reducing swelling, and just provides comfort during a uncomfortable time. And so it's really easy to make Padsicles. You can buy, what do they call them? Cooling pads, maxi cooling pads or something like that. You can buy them. I don't like that because just looking at the ingredients, this is about having control over what goes on your body, and especially during such a delicate time and when your body needs so much support. I don't want to be putting preservatives and other unneeded junk on my torn, damaged, swollen tissue. I want to just put the cleanest, purest ingredients possible on every part of my body, but especially recovering postpartum. It's something that's very important to me. And so before I go into the recipe, I will let you know that at the end, I'm going to provide a couple shortcuts that aren't quite as luxurious, but I did use them in a pinch at times. So here's what you need to make Padsicles. You need pads, obviously. Depending on what your plan is for postpartum, I did not want to wear diapers because I wanted organic cotton. I wanted, which actually I discovered that I have linked the incontinence pads that I used. But I did discover that the same brand of the incontinence pads has a diaper. So if you want to go that route, that I think it is like an organic cotton lining. However, if you're going to use, to me, if you're going to go that route, it just makes more sense to use the organic cotton incontinence pad, because if you're going to do the diaper, you could, but if you're going to make Padsicles, you're going to be buying extra pads anyway. So I went with the pads. So I did like a high-waisted underwear with the incontinence pads for my postpartum, like directly postpartum recovery. There are some women who would rather have the diapers. So if you want to have the diapers instead, the point is that the pad that you would use, you wouldn't need such a heavy duty pad. But so whatever you choose, you're going to need pads. You'll also need alcohol-free witch hazel and essential oils. I don't know, how much do I want to go into this? So the brand of essential oil matters, because when I use essential oils, I am using them for therapeutic purposes. I'm using them for not just to smell nice. I want them to do something. And in order for me to ensure that all of the medicinal properties that are in a plant are carried to that oil, I want to make sure I'm using a brand that I trust, that I know each constituent in that plant that makes up those properties make it into the bottle. And there's only one company I know of that does that. So in the blog, in the description of this video, I have linked over to get these oils. And I encourage you to reach out to me and talk about these oils if you would like. I can tell you how to get the best deal other than using the code SHAREYL. That gives you another 10% off. But if you have a conversation with me, I can make sure that we get you these oils for the least expensive as possible. But so it's lavender and frankincense and copaiba. And the reason we're choosing these oils is because lavender, the skin loves lavender, and it's very soothing and calming, not only for the soul, but also for the body. Frankincense is the king. Lavender's the queen of essential oils. Frankincense is the king of essential oils. Skin also really loves frankincense, and it just is really great at supporting the body healing itself. And it's very grounding, and that is a really great thing to have directly postpartum. These things not only help emotionally, but they help physically. And the last one is copaiba, which you may not have heard of before. And this one promotes healthy levels of inflammation. So this is why we've chosen these 3 essential oils. And if you're still with me, some people hear essential oils and they're like, I'm out. If you don't want to use essential oils, I mean, you're not going to have the same effect if you don't. But I am going to talk about a couple shortcuts after this as well. So hang tight. So after the oils, you also are going to need freezer bags. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to open the pads and leave the wrapper. And then you're going to pour the witch hazel in a bowl. And these are just approximate amounts. You don't need to be super technical with this. I would put witch hazel in a bowl, like a decent amount of witch hazel, and then put 10 to 20 drops of essential oil in the witch hazel, and then stir that up. And now you're going to take that witch hazel and either with a spoon or a measuring cup or whatever you want to do, then pour that onto the pad. And you'll want to focus on the middle of the pad, since that's where you're going to need those healing properties the most. And that's where you're going to just feel the need for that relief the most. And you don't want to oversaturate the pads, because you do want to leave room for any sort of postpartum leaking, whether that be urine or blood or whatever, just anything that's still kind of making its way out. You want to leave room for the pad to absorb that. And so then you'll refold the pad, put it in the freezer bag, and stick it in the freezer. It's ideal to make these ahead of time. I saw a lot of moms say around 34 weeks is a good time to start making these. I'm not entirely sure how far along I was. I think I was well over 37 weeks when I started making the Padsicles. And I ended up I ran out and had to kind of make more on the fly. And so this is why I am talking about the alternative to like the full-on luxurious, wonderful Padsicle recipe that I just talked about with the essential oils. Once I was freshly postpartum and ran out of those Padsicles, I did not have the time, energy, or desire to make a whole recipe and make like pads by batch. So make as many ahead of time as you can, because you're going to thank yourself that you have that. And so the alternative to this is taking the pad and just squirting witch hazel on the pad and sticking that in the freezer, ideally for at least an hour. But if you're in a situation where that's not possible, then you do what you got to do. At least an hour is ideal. So just straight witch hazel is an option. It's not as nice, and it's not as nice to the body. It doesn't promote quite as much healing as the full-on recipe does. And then another option is I have a spray that you can get on Amazon, and I linked that in the blog as well. So you can also spray the pad You can also spray yourself directly, and you can spray the pad and either stick it in the freezer, or you could just put it right on your body. And so I would definitely begin using the Padsicles immediately after delivery, and use them as often as you need. Definitely every time you go to the bathroom, change that out. And if you need to have, like, if you feel like you need more relief outside of, like, more frequently than every time you're going to the bathroom, then that's fine. Just change out the pad, and you'll just be going through more, and that's totally okay. And just be aware it's likely coming out of the freezer unless you are in like a major pinch. So it's going to be cold, but you will have like an instant relief. It's like you put that on and it's like, it really does feel so good. And the essential oils just amplify that. And so for me, this is about having control over what goes on my body. Your skin is your largest organ. What goes on your skin goes into your bloodstream and is carried to every organ of your body. So I would rather have full control over all of the ingredients over buying something that's pre-made. So that's it. That's it for today. If you would like to hear more from me, I'd love to have you in my Facebook group. The link for that is also in the description of this video. And hope this was helpful for you. I hope you enjoy your Padsicles. And I know you'll enjoy your Padsicles. And I'll see you next time.